Hey everybody, it's getting nighttime and it's time for old man's advice. um, I'm being targeted by very distinct hate groups online. It's not like your normal trolling or, things like that. It's kind of politically affiliated with social media and stuff. But like, one thing got me worried about the United States of America, because I'm starting to realize something. The Nazis, the hate groups, and the Nazis, I've seen how they work, to spread terror online. And for a lot of people that want to use social media, YouTube, Facebook, and all that, you gotta be careful out there, folks, because many of the people that are not, the Nazis look for safe spaces, and you'd be surprised. They use like rhetoric or coded language, little dog whistles and stuff like that. And so I've had these hate groups targeting me, and some of them are Nazi sympathizers, and I had to figure out what's going on, with these people, because they look very young, but they're white, and they're like white supremacists. And like I said, if we trace back the situation back to Liberty, Texas, I had like an entire hate group over here, and I think they're still out here doing their hate, and they try to make safe spaces for themselves in the town, and like they say, this is a safe space for people that believe that we shouldn't allow Ruben to talk about what he wants to talk about. But like this political ideology and this corruption in this town of Liberty, Texas, you gotta trace down the hate groups and where they got all the terminology from. And what I realize is that it's become more of a Nazi hate group than anything. So I'm pretty much just talking to those people. If they look at this video, then I would say that they are pretty much decentralized in the way that they're working. But as I said, I just make videos talking about the situation and inform many people of the Mexican race to be careful out there, because these Nazis are getting money from, you buying their stuff. That's why I refuse to buy a lot of stuff, because I saw a lot of the Nazi dog whistles out there. And the music that they listen to, they're creating safe spaces with the music that they listen to. And I refuse to buy any products that still do the stuff that, it's terroristic. Since January 6th, the corporations that had, basically kind of influenced the situation at the Capitol, like Fox News and other people, they're pretty much Nazi sympathizers, folks. I think people really need to wake up and see what they're looking at here in the United States, because with all this stuff going on with immigration and you know, stuff like that. The Nazis are targeting minority groups. And like, and then they want you to pay for their stuff. They want to act like, oh, you can be my friend, buddy, boy. You can be my friend, boy. You can give me some new boots when you go to the store and purchase my CD. I'm creating safe spaces for Nazis. There's safe spaces for Nazis out here in Liberty, Texas. I had to stop going to the stores that were supporting those causes. And over here in my neighborhood, I could talk and say whatever I want. But if I were to be out there with the white people be just looking at me. They'd be like, hey man, this is not a safe space for you to be talking like that, you beaner. But really, it's true. And I think there's for the people being targeted by these hate groups, I could just say that I've been targeted by these white supremacists very much to the point that I'm starting to see where their Nazi ideologies come from and how they function in society. So, y'all be careful out there. Make sure you don't buy stuff from Nazis, because they're out there in the United States making money, you know. And make sure you don't listen to their music or art. Start boycotting all their products, because that's how they make money and spread their ideology. Right now, I'm just kind of boycotting the one hate group against me, but they pretty much are stemming to a different degree. I know where they're going towards. They're kind of leaning towards Donald Trump and his immigration policies, and they're sort of working with the government to a certain degree with propaganda. So y'all better be careful, man, because it's like, you know, the government of the United States has worked with Nazis before. And so, yeah, we need to be careful. Because, you know, that's what they're doing. I know there's some cases where they're actually working with the U.S. government right now. So, white supremacists, alt-right extremists, they're working with the government right now. I don't see no Mexicans working with the government in that capacity to spread hate, propaganda, and all kinds of stuff. But y'all have to figure this out on your own, man. Because I can't lead the situation. Everybody needs to wake up, you know, and see that there are things out there, and y'all need to stop being stupid and start realizing that these people are basically, you know, targeting minorities in many fields, and they're doing it, man. And and the way it's affected, like the neighborhood and where I came from, like it's kind of been like you know, it's kind of like segregated me from talking to most white people out there in the town. But like they are able to, you know, influence politics and all kinds of stuff. And you know, I don't give any more chances anymore. No more second chances, folks, for the Nazis. Once you're part of a hate group that hates minorities, then we're just gonna not have a good situation, are we?